Macabre Cast.
Devil's on the loose and he's dancing with the mummy.
Wait a minute. Strike that, Gooby. Reverse it. Because you know as well as I do what this means. It's time for another episode of Macabre Cast.
Doc Mark and Chorus, the little mummy, here to bring you another episode of Macabre Cast, where we'll be dropping R's where they belong and adding them where they don't.
I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving and got the chance to settle all those family differences. And now it's all about turkey sandwiches. So if you're worried about something that you said after too many drinks, my mom used to say that 90% of what we worry about will probably never happen. Just get ready for that day that the 10% shows up.
Doc, we already got someone on the line. It's that movie marathon guy, Scary Larry.
Is this something you could share with the rest of us, Amazing Larry?
Happy Turkey Day greetings, Dark Mark. Scary Larry here, just back from seeing the much-anticipated holiday horror movie Thanksgiving, directed by horror master Eli Roth and starring Patrick Dempsey and Rick Hoffman. I must say I was not disappointed on this one. Set in Plymouth, Mass., the movie begins on Thanksgiving, where Rick Hoffman's character is the owner of a local store that has all your needs right there, called Right Mart. Egged on by his gold-digging fiancée, Thomas Wright decides to get a jump on Black Friday by opening up on Thanksgiving night. Horribly understaffed and overwhelmed by the gathering crowds, several people are trampled to death in the ensuing melee of bargain shopping. Now, fast forward a year, and Wright has decided to ignore the tragedy and open up his store again on Thanksgiving night. A mysterious killer, dressed as a John Carver pilgrim, begins to kill off townsfolk who either participated in the melee or left their posts trying to protect the store. But the focus of this killer's ire is Wright's own daughter, Jessica, and her clique of friends, who got into the store before they officially opened, which angered the crowd and set off the riot inside the store. Director Eli Roth has toned down his violence from his earlier movies, Hostel and Grindhouse, while managing to give more clever ways of dispatching the victims. He made it more interesting by giving you multiple people with, pardon the pun, an axe to grind. So it took me almost 3/4 of the movie to lock in on who the killer actually was, but there was still a nice twist ending. Now keep an eye out for nods to 80 horror movies such as Happy Birthday to Me and Killer Clowns from Outer Space. This movie was as good as I expected, and I do give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. But that's mainly because I'm personally always irritated when actors try too hard to sound and act like they're Bostonians. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. Thank you, Scary Larry, for that excellent review. Roth has yet to let me down, and I'm surprised to hear that the gruesomeness of this one has been toned down. But now and then we have to do a little mainstream if we want to make a living in Hollywood. It's great being a rebel, but everybody has to eat.
I'm talking about content. I'm talking about interrelationships. I'm talking about God, the devil, hell, heaven. Do you understand? Finally!
I'm pretty sure Horror Chat Matt, who's on the line, also has something to say about Eli Roth's Thanksgiving.
Hey, Dark Mark. Just wondering if you've had a chance to check out Eli Roth's new film, Thanksgiving. I really enjoyed it. It had some great old-school 80s practical effects and gore, as well as having a 90s Scream vibe. It was a blast from start to finish. My only two small critiques are, one, the New England accents, which were way over the top and definitely done on purpose and played mostly for laughs. And two, the runtime is just a little bit too long, but the movie never drags. This is one movie I will definitely be adding to my plate to watch annually around Thanksgiving. Speaking of Thanksgiving, I really can't think of any other good movies based around Thanksgiving. Do you have any recommendations? Anyways, Dark Mark, keep up the great work.
Nice review, Horror Chat Matt, and thank you. I guess I'm the only one that hasn't seen this movie yet, so hopefully I can do that soon. Although unlikely it'll be on the big screen. As far as other Thanksgiving horror films, no, nothing really comes to mind. I don't think I have one, but I know a movie with the most infamous dinner scene in the world could kind of fall into that category, and that would be, obviously the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the famous dinner scene. I wonder where Grim Kim is with that, if she has revisited that movie and how far she's gotten. Has Grim made it to the infamous dinner scene? That's what I would like to know. I'm going to say no. I don't think she even gets past the scene where Franklin has to go pee-pee in a cup.
Funny you should say that, because it's time for Grim Facts.
Hi, Dark Mark. Okay, memory unlocked. Number 1. You keep playing the Bill Murray clip from Meatballs where they're pounding on the tables shouting, "It just doesn't matter."
It just wouldn't matter because all the really good-looking girls would still go out with the guys from Mohawk because they got all the money.
Because I love that. Also, Babes in Toyland, March of the Wooden, however you want to say it. Oh my God. It's so acid, trippy, creepy, ominous, and I totally agree with what you're saying about the bogeymen. Okay, proposition for, maybe I should word that differently, for both you and Larry, but contributing members to Macabre Cast, I'm going to throw out a little female Mount Rushmore, and then I would like to hear you two's version of your female Mount Rushmore. One, I'm not going to add her because I'll save her for you because she may be someone you want to add. Okay, so I'm going to go with Betty Davis. You've got to. How can you not? Okay. I'm going to throw a little Karen Black up there. I was debating Mia. I'm not sure. And then I have this whole offshoot of favorite female vampire because those vary and it's like hard for me to even pick a top. But a top currently would be A Girl Walks Home at Midnight, which I believe might be an Egyptian film. Highly recommended if you haven't seen it already. And then my fourth, oh gosh, that's just going to be hard, but I'm probably going to be doing some 60s throwback like Imogene Coco or Shelley Winters or... Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there, taste on the female side. I have to leave my thoughts for episode 28 because I've been so busy getting ready for the holidays, I kind of skipped it, and I shall do so. Thank you so much, Dark Mark. Today's episode was so fun. Bye.
Great choices, and as always, thank you, Grim Kim with the Grim Facts. And the vampire movie is actually called A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, and Joe Bob showed that at one point, and I enjoyed it. Not my favorite vampire movie, but it was very different. I liked it.
Okay. Let's get back on track. Female Mount Rushmore.
Well, yeah, I'm going villains. Betsy Palmer, Mrs. Voorhees, and I'm talking about the rotted head that sits on Jason's table. That's what would be up there on the rock. Piper Laurie, who played Margaret White, Carrie White's mom, and obviously Elsa Lanchester, the bride. Got to have her up there to represent the classics, and Linda Blair as Reagan. Those are my four.
Chicks dig me because I rarely wear underwear, and when I do, it's usually something unusual. But now I know why I have always lost women to guys like you. I mean, it's not just the uniform. It's the stories that you tell. So much fun and imagination.
Is this something you could share with the rest of us, Amazing Larry?
Greetings, Dark Mark. Now, Grim Kim posed a question for us to answer, and I gave it some thought and decided on how I wanted to approach it. Grim Kim wants to know which female horror icons to go on our horror Mount Rushmore. And since the only female killer off the top of my head was Kathy Bates' character in Misery, I thought I'd list my 4 top scream queens. Here we go. Number 4 is Barbara Crampton, an icon of 80s and 90s horror who, even in her 60s, is continuing to make great horror such as Jacob's Wife and a personal favorite of mine, You're Next. Coming in at number 3 would be Adrienne Barbeau, who has had a starring role in many cult and horror classics like The Fog, Creepshow, and Escape from New York. Now, it's a tight competition for the top spot, and I have to give number 2 to Jamie Lee Curtis, who followed in her mom's footsteps to make classics such as the Halloween franchise, Prom Night, and Terror Train. But my number 1 scream queen would be Sigourney Weaver, who brought us the original badass film character Ripley in the Alien movies. Well, there you have it, Grimkin. That's my horror Mount Rushmore.
Okay, I'd like to take a moment to talk about the film from 2017 by Del Toro, The Shape of Water. All I've ever heard about Del Toro is how much he loves the classic Universal monsters. And praised as a filmmaker. He sets out and he makes this film, which I hear is a remake of The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Now, for whatever reason, it took me this long to see it. And I know I'm talking about a movie that came out in 2017, but this movie won Best Picture. All right, let me just give a brief rundown of what it's about. It's 1962, and Elisa is a cleaning woman at a high-security government lab. She's a lonely mute, and this is explained to us in a very aggressive way. You'll see the film, and you can understand what I'm saying. Her life changes when she discovers the government's big secret is a humanoid fish-like creature. Well, instead of a tour de force remake of the Black Lagoon, we are subjected to a love story between a woman and a fish. Don't get me wrong, cinematically, this film looks fantastic. I don't have any problem with Del Toro's direction. There's some interesting stuff in this, just not what I hoped for the return of the Gillman to be. I now hear he's going to be making Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein together, and after this movie, I don't know that I even care. But tell me what you think. Have you seen The Shape of Water? Did it really deserve Best Picture in your eyes? I know people are excited that kind of a monster movie got Best Picture for once, but why did it have to be this one? Just was unimpressed. What did you think?
So beware the unforeseen, the thin veil of Halloween. Ghastly corpses, vampire queen, October 31st, Halloween.
Until next time, stay on the road, keep clear of the moors, and beware the moon. But most of all, be good to yourself. This is Dark Mark, signing off. See you soon.